Hello everybody, how are you all? I hope you all are doing great. Welcome back to you in my YouTube channel. In the series of the lectures, we will be completing the entire syllabus of class 8 Science NCERT. Here we have done the discussion of entire topics of chapter 1 along with the MCQ questions. So, after completing first chapter, let us now take second chapter of our book, that is Microorganisms, Friend and Foe, Part 1. We will be covering this chapter into 3 videos. In the first video, we will cover microorganisms and their definition, types of microorganism in detail and where do they live. And in the next videos, we shall deal with the remaining topics. So, are you all excited to know about the microorganism? Let's start. What exactly microorganisms means? Let's discuss. Micro means very small and organisms means, as you know, living being. Okay, so here we will study about the very small creature. So before talking much, there is a quick activity for you all. So are you all excited to do the activity? Yes. So what do? You need to observe your palm carefully, your hand carefully, and tell me, is it absolutely clean? What do you think? Why we need to wash our hand before eating? Let us observe and tell me the answer. Nowadays, everyone is talking about COVID-19. In this pandemic, we need to maintain a good hygiene. Even WHO is also recommending us to maintain hygiene. We need to sanitize our hand frequently to get away from the diseases, right? So, can we see coronavirus? No, we can't see them with our naked eyes. We need a particular microscope to see them. That is why they are called as microorganisms. But some microorganisms are good for us. That is why they are known as a friend. And some are bad for us. That is why they are called foe. It means enemy. If you want to know about more information, let us discuss in detail. So, what are microorganisms? Here in this image you can see there is an image of a pond. So what you need to do, you need to observe this picture. Okay, and do you think you can see all the organism in this picture? No, you can't. Organisms that are visible under a microscope are called microorganism because we can see the organism which is easily available to see with the naked eyes, but there are some minute creature, there are some tiny creatures which we cannot see with the naked eyes. We need microscope to observe them. That is why they are known as a microorganisms. So let us find out the definition of the microorganisms. What are microbes? See, microbes and microorganisms both are same. Don't get confused about the microbes and microorganisms, right? So microbes are tiny organisms which are so small that we cannot see them with an unaided eye. Some microorganisms can be seen with the help of magnifying glass, as you know about the magnifying glass, right? Okay, such as very famous bread mold like fungus, and while some can only be seen when you use a microscope such as bacteria and protozoa. We need microscope to observe the bacteria and protozoa because we cannot see them with the magnifying glasses, right? Microorganisms were first observed by whom? Antonio von Leeuwenhoek. It is very important question frequently asked in the exam. Who were first observed microorganisms? So answer will be the Antonio von Leeuwenhoek were first observed the microorganism. So you can say, what are the microbes? Microbes are the organisms which are not visible with the naked eyes and are only visible with the help of a microscope. Okay, but in very rare case, some microorganisms are visible with the magnifying glass too. Am I clear? Did you all get clear about the microorganism definition? Okay, so now let us move ahead about some microorganism and their images. Here you can see SARS, cholera, influenza, E. coli, T4 and COVID-19 microorganisms. In this picture you are able to see them because we have taken this image under the microscopes. As you know, we can't see them with naked eyes. So now move to the next slide. Some of the microorganisms are unicellular like bacteria, while some have well developed multicellular body like molds. Okay, so the question arises, where do they live? We need to know about the place, about the microorganisms. Okay, so they can survive under different types of climatic environment, ranging from ice cold climate to hot summers and desert to marshy muddy lands. They are also found inside the bodies of animals, including human, air, water, soil, food and other things too. So some of the microorganisms are unicellular and some of the microorganisms are multicellular. They are present everywhere. So that is why they are called cosmopolitan. Okay. So now let us talk about their types. Microorganisms are mainly divided into 4 categories: bacteria, fungi, protozoa and algae. There are 4 different types of microorganisms. Okay. So now let us have a look about some diseases and their causing factors. Here you can see some common diseases like cold, cough, influenza and some serious diseases like polio, chickenpox and measles. It is caused by viruses. Okay. Typhoid and tuberculosis is caused by the bacteria, and dysentery, malaria is caused by the protozoans. So these all are the diseases and their causing agent. Okay, so one by one we will deal with all microorganisms. Let us discuss about the bacteria first. So what are the bacteria? These are single-celled organisms with a rigid cell wall. There is a cell wall, okay, around their body, which is rigid. They can only be seen under a microscope, which enlarges image from 100 to 1000 times. So microscope enlarges the image so that we can see them. So do you like curd? Yes, curd is actually very important for our health. Okay, there is a particular bacteria which is named as lactobacillus present in the curd is known as probiotic, which is good for our intestine. Okay, now let us discuss about different shapes of the bacteria. So there are different shapes of the bacteria and their examples. Comma shaped bacteria, okay, you can see in the image comma like structure, and the examples are Vibrio cholerae. Spherical shaped bacteria which is known as a cocci, okay, and the examples are Staphylococcus and Streptococcus. Rod shaped bacteria is look like a rod, and examples are E. coli and Salmonella. Spiral shaped bacteria is known as Spirilla, and examples are Treponema and Borrelia, and these all are the examples of the bacteria and their shapes. Okay, now we'll talk about the fungi. What are the fungi? These are non-green plants and hence cannot make their own food. They either live as parasites, okay, deriving nutrition from host organism, for example Puccinia, which causes wheat leaf rust. As you can see the first image which is showing the wheat leaf rust, okay, or grow on the organic matter such as bread mold. You can see in the second picture there is a bread mold, green color, okay, mold is there in the bread. Or you can say although most of the fungi do look like a plant, but they do not have chlorophyll. It means they are not a autotroph. That means they cannot make their own food. So what they can be? Either saprophytic, means they live on dead on decaying matter, or they parasitic, okay, it means they lives on host, and examples are yeast, mushroom and molds. Okay, so these all are the common example of the fungi. So let us discuss in detail about the fungi and their structure. Fungi like mushroom, molds, mildew and ears are eukaryote. As you all are aware about the eukaryotes and prokaryote, right? If I am saying eukaryote, it means that they have a true nucleus, right? The main component of fungi are hyphae. What is the function of the hyphae? They are thread-like filamentous structure. It penetrates into substrates. It secretes enzymes to break down nutrients into smaller molecules and absorb them. So they secrete the digestive juices so that they can break down the nutrient into the smaller molecule and get the nourishment. Okay, now what spores does, mainly it is a reproductive parts, or you can say spores are a unit of sexual or asexual reproduction. They can adopt for dispersal and survival for extended period of time in unfavorable condition. Okay, so they wait until they get the favorable condition to grow. Okay, here you can see the image. There is a spores and filamentous structure. Okay, now we'll talk about the algae. What are algae? Algae are either colonial or filamentous. If I will take the example of the volvox, it exists in the colonies, or Spirogyra, it exists in the filamentous. Okay, they are mostly aquatic. Have you seen something green layer on the top of the water in the pond? And I am pretty sure all of you would have seen algae. Okay, so as you can see in the image, there is a pond, and there is a topmost layer of the water is green color, which is known as the algae. So these are simple plant-like organisms which are usually aquatic in nature. They contain a cell wall and chlorophyll and can make their own food by the photosynthesis. Like plant, they are having the chlorophyll. Algae can be unicellular or multicellular. Some of the common examples are diatom, Chlamydomonas and seaweed. Okay, now we'll talk about the protozoa. Protozoa are unicellular organisms. Some of them live independently while others live as parasites. Many of the parasitic protozoans cause diseases in plants, domestic animals and human beings. Example of some protozoans are amoeba, plasmodium and paramecium. Or you can say it is a heterotrophic. It means they cannot make their own food and it survives on something else. Like us, we have to depend on plants and animals to get our food, right? So mostly they are aquatic. It means usually they are found in water. As you can see in the image, paramecium and amoeba. Okay, so they are very common example of the protozoa. Now we'll talk about the viruses, okay, which is very different from other microorganisms. So viruses are microscopic organisms, but they are different from other microbes because they reproduce only inside the cells of the host organism, which can be plant, animal or bacterium. So I know that nowadays that everybody is very scared about the viruses, right? Isn't it? I can understand why. Because people says viruses are very dangerous. Okay. So viruses actually they are very fascinating characters. If they are outside of the body, they will be inactive. Actually, to being alive, they need to live on somebody's body. They are bad for us, or you can say they are like a villain for us. They cause most of the diseases like influenza, chickenpox. Am I clear? And I'm hoping that you all are understanding this chapter very carefully. So let us move to the next slide. Viruses are much smaller than bacteria and come in a wide variety of shapes and sizes. A complete virus particle is known as virion. Virion consists of a nucleic acid which is surrounded by the capsid, and capsid is also protective coat. It is having also a protective coat and the subunit of this protein called capsomere. Viruses can be seen only by an electron microscope as they are ultra microscopic in size. In the comparison of the other organism, they are much more smaller. Okay, so that's why we need a particular microscope which is known as an electron microscope, which is very helpful to observe them. Outside of the body of a living organism, they do not show any reaction and hence it can be crystallized and stored like non-living things. So you can say simply they are different from other microorganisms as they reproduce only in the body of the host, like bacteria, plants or animals. Then we will talk about the microorganism and us. Microorganisms are commercially used for the large scale production of alcohol, wine and acetic acid with the help of fermentation. Okay, while it has medicinal uses too. Microorganism can be harmful too. Some of the microorganism causes disease in humans, plants as well as in animals. Such microorganisms which cause disease are known as pathogens. See, it is also very important term. What are the pathogens? Pathogens are the disease causing microorganism. Some microorganisms spoil leather, food and clothing. So let us take a quick recap. Okay. First, we have done microorganisms and the definition. So, they are tiny creatures which cannot be seen with bare human eyes. That's why it is known as a microorganism. They are usually unicellular. Next, we have done their classification. Mainly, they are classified into 4 groups: protozoa, bacteria, fungi and algae. Then we have done bacteria, which is unicellular prokaryotic microorganism. Some bacteria are useful while some are harmful for us. There are 4 major types: Bacillus, Vibrio, cocci and spiral. Okay, bacteria. Then we have done probiotics, which are a live bacteria and yeast are a good for our health, especially for the digestive system. They are good for the digestive system. Then we have done fungi, which is saprophytic or parasitic in nature. It is a multicellular and it is not microscopic. We can see them with the naked eyes. However, yeast is a unicellular and microscopic organism. Then we have done protozoa, which is a single cell microscopic animal. Now, then what we have done? We have done viruses, which is considered to be on the borderline between living and non-living entities. Okay. At the last, we have done discussion of microorganism and their role in our life, whether it is good or bad for us. That's all for the day. We will cover the remaining topics in the next videos. So if you have any doubt regarding this chapter, please put a comment in the comment box so that I can solve your queries. If you think this session is helpful for you to understand the topic, please do not forget to like, share and subscribe. So I will see you in the next video. Bye bye, take care and thank you for watching.